You can buy the car, the house, the status, the success, and still feel the emptiness at night. Because deep down, you know, something is missing. Joe Dispenza revealed a shocking truth. When we get beyond our material existence, we enter the realm beyond space and time. This is the source of wholeness, oneness, and pure love. What if everything you've been chasing in the material world, money, recognition, even relationships, was only a shadow of the real thing? And what if the only way to experience true love, beauty, and wholeness is to step into a realm you've been taught to ignore? Stay until the very end, because in the next few minutes we'll uncover why your material life keeps you restless and how to break through into the one experience that changes everything: the love affair with the divine. You've been taught since childhood that life is about accumulation. Study hard, get the degree, land the job, buy the house, drive the car, build the family, grow the savings. And so you run, faster and faster, chasing the image of success handed to you. But late at night, when the noise finally fades, a quiet emptiness rises. You ask yourself, is this it? Is this all there is? Think of Ethan. He did everything right. Graduated top of his class, climbed the corporate ladder, bought the luxury car, the downtown condo, the vacations people envy on Instagram. People look at Ethan and say, he made it. But what they don't see is Ethan lying awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, feeling an emptiness he can't explain. He has the material life everyone wants, yet it feels like holding water in his hands. The more he grabs, the more it slips away. Ethan is not unique. He is the mirror of millions. Maya is different, yet the same. She's younger, ambitious, thriving in hustle culture. Every day is a checklist: workouts, networking, content creation, side hustles, building her brand. Her friends admire her discipline. Her parents boast about her drive. Her followers comment, "You're so inspiring." But behind the curated feed, Maya is exhausted. Her chest tightens with anxiety. Her smile feels like a mask. She keeps telling herself, "When I reach the next level, then I'll rest. Then I'll be happy." But the next level never comes. Or rather, it comes, but it never satisfies. The hunger only grows. This is the prison we live in, the material self. The self that believes it is only flesh, bone, and circumstance. The self that measures worth by possessions, applause, and external validation. The self that lives inside the clock, chained to time, terrified of running out. And here's the cruel joke. No matter how much you feed it, the material self always starves. Why? Because it was never designed to be whole. And maybe you felt it too, the silent questions that rise in moments of pause. Why do I still feel empty after getting what I wanted? Why does every success fade so quickly? Why does love feel fragile, fleeting, conditional? Why does life feel like a race that never ends? You bury these questions under work, entertainment, consumption, but they don't go away. They grow louder in silence. The cost of living only in the material world is staggering. Emotionally, it drains you with anxiety, fear, and restlessness. Physically, it wears down your body with stress, tension, and disease. Relationally, it makes you use people as tools for validation rather than souls to love. Spiritually, it blinds you from the deeper reality pulsing beneath every breath. And yet, society calls this normal. The burnout is normal. The emptiness is normal. The quiet despair is normal. But deep down, your soul whispers, this cannot be all there is. Desire itself is not the enemy. But in the material world, desire becomes a trap. You desire money. You get it. But the hunger grows. You desire recognition. You get it. But the applause fades. You desire love. You taste it. but it slips into conflict, misunderstanding, fear. Each fulfilled desire only reveals a deeper hunger, a hunger that the material world cannot touch. But why? Why does every satisfaction dissolve into hunger again? Because you are chasing shadows. Think of it like this. Imagine standing before a beautiful tree at sunset. You see its shadow stretching across the ground. Now imagine trying to eat the shadow, drink the shadow, live from the shadow. You can't. The shadow has no substance. The material world is the shadow. The source is the tree. We've been trained to chase shadows, mistaking them for the real. That's why no matter how much you consume, you are still hungry. The real food, the real drink, the real love, it exists beyond. But beyond where? Ethan reached his breaking point one night. Sitting in his luxury condo, glass of whiskey in hand, he realized, I have everything and nothing. Tears he couldn't explain filled his eyes. For the first time he admitted, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm chasing anymore. Maya's breaking point came in silence too. After a week of non-stop hustle, she collapsed on her couch. Phone buzzing, emails pinging, she ignored them all. A strange thought crossed her mind. If I disappeared tomorrow, would any of this matter? These breaking points are not failures, they are doorways. Because only when the material world fails to satisfy do you become ready for something more. Joe Dispenza speaks of a realm beyond space and time, a realm of wholeness, oneness, and pure love. But here's the mystery. How can there be something beyond time when everything we know exists in it? How can there be love that doesn't depend on another? How can there be wholeness when you've always felt incomplete? The mind resists, the ego scoffs, the material self panics, and yet the hunger in your soul tells you it must be true, because if the material world cannot satisfy, then satisfaction must live beyond it. So here you are, standing where Ethan and Maya stood, surrounded by possessions, achievements, routines, hustle, and yet haunted by the quiet whisper, there must be more. And there is. Joe Dispenza reveals, when we get beyond our material existence, we enter the realm beyond space and time. This is the source of wholeness, oneness, and pure love. But how do you step beyond? How do you touch what is invisible? How do you begin the love affair with the divine when all you've ever known is the material? That is the mystery we now face. And in the next part of this journey, we will open the door. When we get beyond our material existence, we enter the realm beyond space and time. This is the source of wholeness, oneness, and pure love. When we make contact with it, the love affair with the divine begins. At first, these words sound impossible. Beyond space, beyond time. How can that exist when everything you know lives inside them? And yet deep down, something inside whispers, yes, this is the missing piece. The invitation to step beyond the material world is a cage, not because it is evil, but because it is incomplete. Think of it like standing inside a house with locked windows. You can decorate it, upgrade it, fill it with possessions, but you never see the sky. Joe Dispenza invites you to open the window, to realize the sky has been there all along. This is not about abandoning your job, your family, or your life. It is about discovering that beneath all of it, within all of it, there is another dimension of being, one that frees you from the endless hunger of the material self. But how do you step beyond? The shift of awareness. The first step is awareness. Most people live convinced they are only their body, their thoughts, their roles. But you are not your body. It changes daily. You are not your thoughts. They contradict themselves constantly. You are not your roles. They shift with circumstances. So who are you? The awareness noticing it all? The silent witness behind every thought, every sensation, every role? This witness is not bound by time. It doesn't age. It doesn't change. It simply is. And when you rest in this awareness, you glimpse the realm Joe Dispenza describes. Ethan's first glimpse. Ethan tried something new. One night, instead of pouring another drink, he sat quietly. He closed his eyes and breathed deeply. At first his mind screamed, tasks, bills, deadlines. But he didn't fight. He simply observed. Minutes passed. His body twitched with restlessness. But then something shifted. For the first time, Ethan felt space inside. A vastness, as though behind the noise of his mind, there was silence, alive, limitless. And in that silence he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Wholeness. The material Ethan was always running, but the deeper Ethan was already whole. Maya's first glimpse. Maya's awakening came differently. Walking home, exhausted, she suddenly looked up. The sky was painted in colors she hadn't noticed in years. The wind brushed her cheek. For a moment, the city noise fell away, and she felt it. A sense that she was not separate from the sky, not separate from the wind, not separate from the people rushing past. For the first time, she felt oneness. Tears came, not from sadness, but from remembering. Because what she touched in that moment was not new. It had always been there, waiting. The realm beyond space and time. So what is this realm Joe Dispenza describes? Think of the ocean. Waves rise and fall, each looking separate, each seeming to begin and end. But beneath they are all water, connected, timeless. The material self is a wave. The realm beyond is the ocean. In this realm, wholeness replaces emptiness because you realize you are never separate. Oneness replaces loneliness because you see yourself in all things. Pure love replaces conditional love because it does not depend on another. It flows from the source itself. But here comes the deeper question. If this love and wholeness are always available, why do so few ever touch it? The barriers to contact. There are three main barriers. 1. Belief. The material mind insists, only what I can touch is real. This belief blinds you to the unseen. 2. Ego. The false self clings to control, terrified of dissolving into something greater. 3. Attachment. You cling to possessions, achievements, relationships as if they could give you identity. And yet, the moment you release belief, ego, and attachment, even briefly, you slip beyond the cage. The question is not whether the realm exists. The question is whether you dare to let go long enough to touch it, the love affair with the divine. When you do touch it, even for a moment, you feel it. Pure love. Not the love that asks, "Do you love me back?" Not the love that fears abandonment. Not the love that shifts with moods and conditions. This love is constant, infinite, unconditional. It is not something you get. It is something you are. And once you taste it, the hunger of the material world begins to lose its grip. Because you realize the one thing you were searching for has been inside you beyond space and time all along. The loop forward. But here lies the paradox. Even after glimpsing this realm, returning is not easy. The mind drags you back to bills, roles, fears. The ego whispers, that was imagination. That wasn't real. So how do you sustain it? How do you live beyond time while still walking in time? How do you keep the love affair alive when the world screams for your attention? That is the trial every seeker must face. And that is where we go next. You've glimpsed it. The realm beyond space and time. Maybe for a moment in silence, maybe in a breath, maybe in an unexpected wave of love. But the glimpse is only the beginning, because the material world will always pull you back. Trial 1. The voice of doubt. Ethan woke the next morning after his breakthrough. For a brief night, he had felt the vast silence. But now, in the light of day, his mind mocked him. That wasn't real. It was imagination. You were tired. You made it up. This is the first trial. Doubt. The material mind demands evidence, proof, logic. It insists, if I can't touch it, it doesn't exist. And if you listen, the door slams shut. But Joe Dispenza teaches, doubt is the guard at the threshold. The test is whether you trust your inner experience more than the noise of the rational mind. The practice, return to stillness. Repeat the state until it becomes undeniable. Trial 2, the pull of the ego. Maya's first glimpse left her radiant. She felt connected, whole, but soon the ego crept in. Now you're special. Now you're enlightened. Show the world. Prove it. This is the second trial. Ego. The ego hates dissolving. It fears the realm beyond, because in oneness there is no separate I to glorify. So it disguises itself as spirituality, pride in being awakened, superiority over others, chasing experiences to boost identity. But the moment ego hijacks transcendence, the connection collapses, the practice, humility. To enter the realm beyond, you must surrender the need to be seen. You must dissolve into the whole, trusting that love itself is enough. Trial 3, the weight of attachment. Ethan tried to meditate, but his mind spun with money worries, bills, deadlines, responsibilities. How can I sit in silence when my life is falling apart? This is the third trial, attachment. We cling to possessions, relationships, roles, as if they are who we are. The material self shouts, without this, you are nothing. But the realm beyond whispers, even if it all vanished, you would still be. The practice, release. Not abandoning life, but loosening the grip. Practicing trust that wholeness is not outside, but within. Trial 4, the shadow of old identity. Maya felt alive after her glimpse, but days later she found herself scrolling late into the night again. The old habits returned. The old self whispered, this is who you are. You've always been anxious. You'll never change. This is the fourth trial. Identity. The old self does not die quietly. It resurfaces again and again, dragging you back into familiar pain. The practice, rehearsal of the new self. Joe Dispenza calls it becoming. Each day, rehearse the thoughts, feelings, and actions of the new you until they overwrite the old. The practices of sustaining transcendence. Joe Dispenza offers practical tools for walking through these trials. 1. Meditation beyond the body. Sit in stillness and imagine yourself beyond your flesh. Feel yourself as awareness, infinite, formless. 2. Elevating emotions. Instead of waiting for joy or love, generate them in your body now. Teach your body what the future feels like until it believes. 3. Rehearsing the new self. Each morning, close your eyes and live a day as the new you, whole, loving, free. The brain doesn't know the difference between rehearsal and reality. 4. Letting go of the known. Step into the unknown in meditation. Surrender the need to control. Allow the field beyond time to reveal itself. 5. Gratitude as a state. Live in gratitude, not for what is coming, but for what already is. Gratitude signals to the body that the blessing has already arrived. Ethan's battle. Ethan tried again. His doubts mocked him. His bills haunted him. But this time, he practiced. He sat in silence, breathing deeply. He imagined himself beyond his body, beyond his room, dissolving into a field of light. At first, nothing happened. Then slowly, a warmth spread through his chest. A joy not caused by anything external. The doubt didn't disappear, but for the first time, Ethan realized the joy felt more real than the doubt. Maya's battle Maya faced her ego. She wanted to post about her awakening, to prove her growth. But instead, she chose silence. She sat on her balcony, watching the sky. She whispered, "This is enough. I am whole." And as she let go, she felt a peace that no recognition could give. Her old self still pulled, but each time she returned to stillness, the pull weakened. your battle. And you, yes you, are no different. You will face doubt. You will feel ego. You will cling to attachments. You will hear the whispers of your old self. The question is, will you quit or will you continue? Because here is the paradox. The realm beyond space and time is already here. You don't create it. You don't earn it. You only learn to stay long enough to feel it. And once you feel it consistently, something extraordinary happens. The love affair with the divine begins, the cliffhanger of death. But here lies the final and hardest trial, the death of the old you. Ethan cannot remain both the frantic provider and the transcendent self. Maya cannot remain both the anxious hustler and the radiant whole. You cannot remain both the material prisoner and the awakened being. Something must die, and only in that death does the new life begin. That is the climax we now enter. Every journey leads here, the threshold, the place where oneself must die so another can be born. Because you cannot remain both prisoner and free. You cannot remain both restless and whole. You cannot remain both bound to time and touched by eternity. The choice is not optional. It is inevitable. Ethan's death and rebirth. Ethan sat once again at his desk, papers scattered, bills unpaid, heart heavy. The familiar panic rose. But this time, instead of obeying, he closed his eyes. He whispered, "I am not this body. I am not this fear. I am the awareness beyond." And something extraordinary happened. The panic surged, then collapsed. He felt as though a part of him, an old, frantic version that lived only for survival, was dissolving. It was painful, yes, like shedding skin that had been worn for decades. But beneath the pain, there was relief. The old Ethan, the man defined by work, worry, and worth measured in dollars, died in that moment. In his place, a new Ethan was born, one who could still work, still provide, still live in the world, but from a place of freedom, not fear. Maya's death and rebirth. Maya walked home late, exhaustion pulling her down. Her phone buzzed, another demand, another reminder of her endless hustle. Her old self screamed, "Answer it, keep proving, don't stop." But she stopped. She turned the phone off. She looked up at the night sky, and she felt it again, that vastness, that oneness. For a moment her ego resisted, terrified of disappearing. But then she whispered, "I surrender." And the old Maya, the woman addicted to validation, enslaved to comparison, died in that breath. In her place, a new Maya was born, one who radiates love instead of chasing it, one who lives beauty instead of curating it, one who carries joy not as a prize, but as her nature. Your death and rebirth, and now it is your turn. The old self has ruled long enough, the self that says, "I am only flesh, I am only thoughts, I am only what I own." The self that panics, doubts, clings and runs. That self must die. And yes, it is terrifying because you've worn it for years, maybe decades. You think it is you, but listen carefully. You are not that self. You never were. You are the one who notices. You are the one beyond. You are the awareness that cannot age, cannot break, cannot die. And when you finally let the old identity collapse, what emerges is not emptiness. It is wholeness. It is oneness. It is pure love. This is the love Joe Dispenza speaks of, the love affair with the divine. Not as a theory, not as a belief, but as a living, breathing reality inside you. The love affair begins. In this state, love is no longer something you seek. It is something you are. You look at a stranger and feel connection. You touch the earth and feel gratitude. You breathe and realize this right here is sacred. Wholeness fills the cracks you thought would never heal. Oneness dissolves the loneliness you thought was permanent. Love pours from you like light, without effort, without condition. And in that moment the affair begins, not with another person, not with a possession, not with an achievement, with the divine itself, the final benediction. So here is the truth. The material world is not all there is. Time and space are not your prison. The old self is not your destiny. Beyond it all lies a field, and in that field, you are whole. You are one. You are love. This is the death of the old. This is the birth of the eternal. This is the moment your love affair with the divine begins. If you've reached this point, you've done more than just watch a video. You've walked with Ethan. You've walked with Maya. And you've walked with yourself through the chaos, through the doubts, through the death of the old self. That means you are ready. But transformation is not complete until you seal it with action. Action impresses the subconscious. Action tells your mind, this is who I am now. First, press like, not as a button, but as a declaration. The old self is gone. Every click is a burial of the identity that no longer serves you. Second, hit subscribe, because this journey doesn't end here. Awakening is not a one-time event. It's a path. By subscribing, you're committing to walk deeper, to be reminded again and again of the truth. You are more than matter. You are eternal. Third, and most important, go to the comments and write these words. I begin my love affair with the divine. Write it slowly. Feel it. Let your fingers impress it into reality. Because when you declare it, the subconscious takes it as law. And if you wish, share the moment you felt closest to the divine, whether in silence, in nature, or in a breath. Your words may become the mirror someone else needs to see. This is your rebirth. This is your seal. The old is gone. The new has come. And the love affair with the divine begins now.